Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Sunday night, 7 o'clock, and we're revving it up with a little bit of country tonight. And my guests are David and Renee from Skeeter Creek, Bob Tressler from Whiskey River. Who did we lose?
Chris.
Chris. Brad and Ashley from Big Sky Country. Here comes Chris again. Jim Gilbert from Nippertown, and Chris O'Neill from Froggy 100.3. Chris, we're live.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time connecting and staying connected for some reason.
Okay, so we'll just keep bringing you in and out. If you do drop, don't worry about that, okay? We already have 11 people waiting on you guys, so I mean, there's a lot of things going on. That's my cousin saying hi in the bottom corner. Hi, Jordan. And I have some questions for you guys. And we're going to start with, a pretty easy thing. And we'll start with Dave and Renee and go clockwise. When and what age did you discover country music? Not any music, but country music.
You can go first.
All right, I'll go first. I was brought up on country music. So everything from my grandparents really loved Patsy Cline. And I started singing when I was 8 on stage. So it's been my whole life. How about you?
That's cool.
I never liked country music growing up, ever. Never liked it.
What did your father watch every Saturday?
He watched Hee Haw.
Hee Haw. Yeah, my parents did.
Every Saturday night. That's probably why I didn't like it. But
I missed that show.
I didn't start singing until I was actually 21 years old into a bar. And my first song ever was Friends in Low Places. Drunker than a skunk.
Awesome.
Never sang before in my life. And that's what started my career, I guess.
Isn't it against the law to sing that song sober?
I think it is.
I think everybody's against it. It's against the law to sing any song sober like that.
I think
that would be that.
I think your first live performance ever on anything is drunk. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the first time you ever went, on a stage, you got to be drunk. I
was 8, so I certainly was not. So.
No, that's too early. Bob Tressler. What about you, Bob Tressler?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, it's country music because I grew up product of the 70s, Zeppelin and all that good stuff. So country came into my life in 2006 when a former drum student of mine, and I hadn't seen him in 20 years, contacted me, invited me to come to SPAC to see him playing with this up-and-coming female artist, and they were opening for Toby Keith. So I went, saw him, and got backstage and blah, blah, blah. And he was the drummer for Miranda Lambert, and he was her floor drummer for a dozen years. So I got to meet her with just a scared little Toby Keith, and that got me interested in country. So from there to here.
So that came in your life, but you were playing music before that, right? You were a drummer of some other genre.
Since 8th grade. Did my first show was a Lions Club show. I did not get drunk because this was Catholic school and the nuns would have beat the crap out of me. So, I've been playing since Ringo showed up. I was moving up here upstate from Long Island.
Wow.
I laid off drums for quite a while following my career, and then come up here, sort of retired, got back involved in it again, especially after seeing this former student with Miranda. So I hit all the jam sessions, country music jam sessions I could find, and eventually hooked up with these guys I'm with now in Whiskey River. Love them all. They're good guys, good players. They're well seasoned.
Right.
Know what they're doing, and we just have a lot of fun.
They're a great group of guys. I love shooting with you guys. Awfully fun. Fun all the time. Brad and Ashley. Now, I know Ashley comes from a musical family, but let's start with Brad, because I'm more interested in finding out where he comes from.
Yeah, I'm more interesting.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm just more interested in knowing where you came from.
my grandparents listened to country music growing up, and that was really my only. That was the only time I was exposed to it. I listened to a lot of Dave Matthews, and I did Southern rock. I had that gene for a long time, and I really didn't start listening to country again until Big Sky posted the ad for a guitar player.
Yeah.
In 2013, and then I started paying attention.
Awesome. So you started paying attention, but what drew you in saying, yeah, I want this job, this job with this band?
Besides her, is country music. I like I said, I like Southern rock. I'm a big fan of guitars. The Outlaws, the Loaded Guitar Army, I was a big fan of. So when I started with the band, it was very much country rock. Mm-hmm. A lot of guitars and a lot of distortion. So I like that a lot. But we're moving in the pop direction, and that's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ashley, why are we moving in the pop direction? I'm kind of interested in that too, because when I first saw you guys, I didn't know you two were together, and it was very country when Mark was still singing with the band, and it was modern country classics and straight up country, no pop. So,
I guess I should say country music as a whole is moving towards pop, not necessarily us. We're still very much fighting that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We picked a few here and there because you have to play what people want to hear.
Right.
So we try to pick the ones we can. The first word that comes to mind is tolerate. Some of the songs on radio are just a little too pop for most of our taste, but we have fun with it, and we try to make it our own as we can and do justice. So. Right.
And when did you start doing country? Now, because I know you grew up with a mom who's a wonderful singer. Is your dad a musician too?
Yeah. We're
okay.
Like family. My sister sings. Like, my mom sang my whole life growing up, and my dad actually played football. And we traveled around a lot. I was originally born in Nebraska. We moved around, ended up here. My mom would sing the national anthem at all his games. So I just grew up watching her sing. Eventually, when I was older, I was about 10 or so. I think might be earlier than that. My dad got into DJ and karaoke when it was really popular there for those years. I was hooked. We had it hooked up in the house, and I started getting out of my comfort zone and singing in the house. And the house went to the bars. Where I was lucky enough to kind of tag along and like hide behind the DJ booth. I mean, I was in bars at 14 singing for crowds, but it was so fun. And I fell in love with it instantly. And country music in general, I really found a love for that when I was about, I would say 12, I think. The first band I was really introduced to, I grew up with a variety of music, but Rascal Flatts was actually the first band that drew me in, and I was instantly hooked. And street,
Rascal Flatts, why not? Chris, why country radio? Since you're part of the media aspect of it, I know you've worked at other country stations. What draws you to country? Oh, you there, dude?
Yeah, I don't know. I think somebody hit a pole because I lost power. Like the whole house lost power for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
Chris looks frozen.
Chris looks frozen. So I guess I'll skip that. Jim.
Maybe I should have paid my bill.
Yeah. Jim, I know you're not country.
Signal really stinks, right? The signal's not.
Oh, there's Chris. We didn't hear you. You looked frozen. So, how did you get to country radio?
My signal is.
Oh
no, we're losing you. Are you there?
That's a great place for him to be frozen.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Well, he's up in Fort Ann you know, and it's right before the hills, and
Does
it's.
anybody else want to like have popcorn and see if they can get it into his mouth?
He'll appreciate that when he comes back. We'll wait and see what happens.
Well, you know, it's the things you do in the green room anyway. Like when somebody passes out, it's like, yeah, you got to have fun with them, right?
Right, exactly.
Don't be the first one to pass out at the party.
Okay, so when Chris unfreezes, we'll come back and get his answer. But right now, we're going to go on to this one. If you had to pick one influence in your professional musical life, who or what would that be? And for you, Jim, you know, it's about the photography and getting into the music scene. You're not necessarily country because you cover everything. And here comes Chris. Again.
I grew up on country radio, though. You got to remember, I grew up in Herkimer listening to WLFH. So.
Right. I grew up listening to the Statler Brothers, but it didn't make me want to listen to country radio. My father is a huge Statler Brothers fan, and Patsy Cline, and he used to drive me absolutely insane with it.
I am fascinated by like the resurgence of outlaw country, though.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. That's one of my questions about the resurgence. Chris O'Neill, country radio. When did you discover you wanted to be part of it? Hello. No, he's gone again.
He's gone.
Okay, so let's go to Dave. One influence in your professional musical life doesn't necessarily mean country, but, you know, what made you want to do this every weekend or every week like you do?
So my family wasn't like into music at all, and I don't know why I started it, but it was something to do. And then I'm actually a drummer by trade. Like that's what I started doing. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, I had my own band. It was a funk, blues, and rock band. I was the drummer and lead singer, like a regular Phil Collins. Yeah. And then I didn't feel like playing drums and lugging them around anymore. So I decided to audition for a country band. And I was originally the lead singer for Back 40 Band.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that either.
Yeah, I started my country career with those with those guys for a couple of years, and then I answered an ad for Skeeter Creek, and I had no idea what the hell Skeeter Creek was, but it seemed to be the thing to do at the time. So I auditioned for them and hired me. But like we've done tons of shows and opened up for tons of artists, and probably one of my biggest influences and the best show that I had the opportunity to open up for was George Jones.
Oh, nice.
Civic Center. Yeah, it was really cool, and it was like awesome. I mean, a guy my age, like George Jones, who's George Jones? Like we don't know who that guy is, but he was absolutely one of the biggest icons that I've ever opened up for and seen. And that was the beginning of Skeeter Creek era. So I kind of looked up to that guy. It was pretty cool.
He might have wrote the greatest song ever.
Oh, absolutely.
He Stopped Loving Her Today might be the best song ever written. It's just amazing.
All right.
Yeah. I'm waiting on Chris. Chris is coming back, but I'm waiting on him to come into view. There he is.
It's good that George showed up for that show.
No showdown.
Yeah.
Oh, he was spot on. Like he was.
Somebody got that.
I want to say that was 10 years ago when we opened up for him at Glens Falls Civic Center. Sold out crowd, and he was the nicest guy. Like I've heard a lot of bad rumors about him, I guess, but he was just so cool and down to earth to us. So it was pretty cool.
You find that the rumors aren't necessarily true when you do work with these people because, you know.
I mean,
sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some really bad ones.
I won't ask you who they are.
I won't answer that either.
Or you can tell me privately so I don't do any work with them. And where am I? Chris, are you back?
I'm back, kind of. I can hear a little bit. My signal sucks for some reason.
I don't know why.
I've got all bars up on my phone, and I've got my hotspot on, so I don't get it. But I'm on for right now.
Okay. So my question to you, the last question was about how did you get into country music? For you, how did you get into country radio, and when did that happen, and why?
Well, I like Brad said earlier, like my grandparents listened to country music all the time. Like my grandfather loved Patsy Cline, Marty Robbins, Earl Haggard, and Waylon Jennings, all that stuff. My parents hated country, but my grandparents loved it. So whenever I went up to my grandparents' house, I'd be surrounded by country music.
Right. So, and when you went to radio, you decided that's what I want to do?
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah, we heard you. So, so then you decided that's what you wanted to do? I mean, just like stay with country, or was there an opportunity that presented it?
What's that?
Was there an opportunity that presented itself for you, the country radio? Or did you pick it? Did you decide you're going into it? Can you hear me?
I think I'm
technology.
I can't make out what you're saying because of the signal strength.
Okay. I sent you a message about. There you go. I told him to go get close to his router and reboot the freaking thing.
Let's hope their radio signal has better reception than that.
It does. I mean, it's right here. It's right here in the middle of Glens Falls, where his radio station is. So, Bob Tressler. One influence in your professional musical life, or the most influential. Who would it be?
So the song was "I Feel Fine." by the
Oh,
Beatles.
wow.
And there were those 4 or 5 syncopated hits right in the middle of that song that just made the hair stand up on the back of my neck, and that was it. I was sold. So like many guys from my generation, Ringo, he just did the trick. So he was the biggest influence to get me involved in drumming.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
That is cool.
And then everything else after that, Buddy Rich, listening to him, Carmine, A Piece, guys like that, the rock drummers, Steve Gadd, there's Neil Peart, there's millions of them out there. They're all excellent drummers, and they all influence each one of us as a drummer in one way or another as we listen to them. We incorporate what we can, and it comes out in our playing, hopefully, some of it. So, it all rolls.
Awesome. I'm having a chat message with Chris O'Neill. He's trying to figure out his problem. Sorry about that. So, Jim Gilbert, I already know this story, but let's do it again. Your influence.
Well, I've been photographing for a while. And, I don't know if I have like a specific professional influence in as a photographer. I mean, I know Elliot Landy and those guys, and I love watching those or looking at the classic photos. But I think for me, it's as a photographer, when I got the concert photography bug, it's just, you don't know what you're going to get on any given night. You don't know what the lights are going to be. You don't know how fast, how much these guys are going to move. I mean, if I'm shooting James Taylor, I know all I really need is one photo because that man's sitting on a stool and he's not moving a freaking inch.
Right?
Thank God his music's good because he's boring as but then you got to show like Zach Brown or Brad Paisley or somebody like that, or Luke Bryan, who they do move around and they do. I mean, you want to get Luke Bryan when he shakes his ass. Girls,
well, yeah,
that, right? That was the one person. Like my mom was like, "Oh my God, you photographed Luke Bryan," and then other people wanted me to get a shot of his ass. And I'm sorry, ladies, but there's no ass. It is like I shot it. I looked. I was like, "What are they looking at?" But
they're looking at his ass.
But that goes back to.
I actually agree.
Yeah.
My philosophy with like pop country or any of those guys is if I can see your backside more than I could see your front side, you don't belong on stage. So
thank God I never turn around.
You know what I mean? Like if you're shaking it just turn around and sing, you know. But yeah, I've had a pleasure to work with a lot of those guys over the years, and it's kind of cool. Every experience is different.
Right.
Very cool.
Brad and Ashley, what was your influence musically? I mean, you know, not necessarily country, but you can include that.
So I go back and forth between a couple. My father played in a bunch of bands. He played bass in a bunch of bands growing up, and listening to his stories about playing music in the early '70s, and they were good stories.
Oh yeah.
So that was motivational. But you know, as far as musical influence, not anything close to country. Dave Matthews Band. I've been to a ton of shows, and the energy that they put off on stage is unmatched.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So you know, that's a lot of my moves on stage are based off of that. And my playing style is based off of him. You know, I would say Dave Matthews Band would be the biggest for me.
My cousin who's watching the show is a huge Dave Matthews fan. He follows him all over the globe. He's on like his, I don't know, 350th show or something following Dave Matthews Band. He's been all over the place, and his wife too.
You know, I've lived here for 7 years now, and up until 7 years ago I had seen 22 shows, and I lived for a long time. I lived in Ballston Spa, about 2 miles from SPAC.
From SPAC, yeah.
Since I've been here, I haven't been able to see them.
I haven't been able to get tickets for them either. And it's a shame because, you know, it is so convenient.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Ashley, the influence, mom, maybe? I don't know.
I had a lot of musicians in and out of our house, and my mom and my dad, and you know, I was surrounded by music. But I would say as a big turning point in my professional music life, I would have to say, I pick Leland. I really came out of my comfort zone once he joined Big Sky, and he has taught me so much. He taught me harmonies. He taught me, you know, we wrote together, and he got me on the path of writing my own songs. And guitar, you know, he teaches me guitar, but Leland is helpful on stage.
So
he's really taken me under his wing, and he's taught me so much.
So, just to clarify for people who don't know who Leland Bunting is, he joined the band. Oh God, it was after Mark. I don't remember what year. 16. And he brought, wasn't it your first original to the band? He wrote that. I love that song. And then from then on, he was just like poof. He found his niche.
Perfectly. Yeah. We connected really well together, and we're good friends. And
he's a great musician. He's a really and I should have him on my songwriters show pretty soon. I'll have to get in touch with him.
For the record, he probably has one of the best country music voices that I've ever heard in the Capital District.
He's so good.
I love watching him sing because he's like so
it's effortless when he sings.
It really is.
I get it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I noticed the effortless in his singing. I went even from the very beginning. Even when he first was getting used to the band, he was still effortless. If you can picture that.
It's been amazing being on sharing the stage with him. It's been a big turning point for me in the last 4 years.
Leland, I hope you're watching. You're getting plugged. Right. So, on to the third question. And this is a good one because I am really interested in how this happened. If you can remember back, well, you're not as old as me, but I'm old. So back in the 70s, you know, country was on TV all the time, and then we got to the 80s, and it kind of started sinking away. The popularity of the old country music versus the transitioning into the new country music, country took a dive. It was not as popular. The bars were not as popular. And then all of a sudden, new country came along, and boom, country music is huge again. What do you think attributed to the rise coming back from, you know, classic country to the new country? What was it about new country that brought everybody back? Let's start with Bob Tressler.
probably asking the wrong guy because we play classic.
Yeah, that's
But we're
you're
successful
absolutely
with that.
right. But there's a few. Isn't there a few new country songs in that set list? Maybe not. Chris is back.
Right. You know, we have our niche, and we're successful with it. But it's a tough road to find clubs that'll let us in and play classic country. But we've developed a good following, and can't really hear it anywhere live.
I'm just going to let people know that Bob is on satellite. That's why he's glitchy.
So they're happy to follow us around.
And he's out in the middle of nowhere.
See, I would think with the resurgence of like bluegrass and Americana, that classic country would be making a resurgence as well.
At the same time as, I mean, but they were before the bluegrass thing came along.
Yeah, but the bluegrass reaches back to that country, that early country sound so much that there's got to be some sort of life back to it. Maybe not.
I hope.
Go ahead, Ashley.
I was agreeing.
Yeah. Chris O'Neill, you've watched it happen. What happened?
No,
Nope.
we can't.
Let's do it again.
We watch him leave.
That's his answer.
Just my luck.
Was anybody a country fan in like the 80s or like with Garth Brooks or Shania Twain?
Well, Renee
I was like a 90s. I was born in the 90s. So I grew up singing 90s country music.
Uh-huh.
And I had like friends in high school would like tease me for singing country music. I was like a country bumpkin, and they couldn't believe that I sang country music because country music wasn't cool.
No, it wasn't. It was on its way out.
And there was this one kid who was like so into classic rock, and he busted my balls my entire singing career in high school. And do you know that he now pays money to come see us play? It's crazy.
Get him in the wallet. That's where it hurts. Okay. So, where am I? I'm at Dave and Renee, right? Dave, did you say about the rise? What did you say about the rise in popularity?
I didn't say anything yet. She can.
You don't know. You don't have an answer. That's why you're running it.
Oh.
I'm not. I really don't know. I don't know. I just remember being like a senior in I graduated in 2010, and I remember being a senior in high school, and country was just starting to come around. I think it was when it started to turn more pop. I think it had more of a pop vibe to it, and it appealed across genres as opposed to just twangy country, as you know, kids my age would call it. I prefer it. I love the 90s country, but I think that the crossover to pop was really it rose the popularity.
And I think Skeeter Creek started when there wasn't many country bands out when Skeeter Creek started doing country. It was like us and Back 40 Man. That's probably the only
back then
local, I guess I want to say local country bands out. So we were kind of blessed. And like today, there's no like Big Sky has their crowd. I mean, they have our crowd, we have their crowd. Like everybody supports each other.
Yeah, so there's a lot of country fans that follow all of you.
Yeah, it goes around in a circuit. So there's like no like, oh, I'm a this fan and I'm a that fan. Like they're all fans of all the local country bands,
all of us,
which is really cool. So.
Yeah, they're following the genre. They're following the genre rather than the band.
Right.
Yeah.
In some cases, they follow the band, but
definitely.
Well, you have the diehards for sure. But we like to rotate and switch it up, which is great because I mean, listening to the same band, can I don't know. It's good that they switch it up, and there's enough venues, enough fans, and everything to go around. So
they just want to see Brad take his ass. That's all.
Put me in one pants and watch me look just like Luke Bryan.
Yes.
No ass.
The first show I shot with Big Sky, there was this drunken blonde woman that was all over Brad. Do you remember that, Brad?
Yeah,
That woman that
Probably happens
out of the
every year.
Meadowbrook. No, it wasn't Ashley. She was on the other side of the stage. This was that woman at the Meadowbrook that got up on stage with you, and she just wouldn't get away from you. She was all over. Well, it was my first show with you guys, and I couldn't believe that this woman. I mean, he's literally playing the guitar, and she's like right on his arm, and he's moving, and she's moving with it.
That stuff.
And she's all because in the Meadowbrook, if people don't know, you can walk, or you used to be able to walk right up on stage, and they're right in front of you. I mean, Ashley, I don't know how you sang or saw anybody in the room because these big, tall guys will be right up front, ready to get in your face, and they're right here.
Yeah.
And I can't understand how anybody can enjoy that, as a show, because you A, can't see the people on the stage, and B, they're standing on that set of stairs, and everybody else is trying to move from one side to the other to get a view of the band.
Lots and lots of beer.
It's lots of beer. I get that part, but how are they enjoying it? They're all they're all packed in on the staircase. They can't be enjoying it because they're like this, elbow to elbow. How can they be enjoying the music?
They still come out every weekend and they do the same thing every weekend.
I know, it's weird.
The Meadowbrook updated their stage and they got rid of those stairs and they have like a secret room now, so you can with a
heated toilet seat.
So they've done some upgrades. Not that you sit there. You still do cover. But.
I loved going to the Meadowbrook.
I think country has made a lot of different ups and downs in different, like in the 80s or whatever with Garth Brooks. That was everybody got into that. And then in the 90s, they had their resurgence. And I think the resurgence now, I think Renee's right. It went toward a pop feel, especially with like the Taylor Swifts and whatever of the world, but I think one of the things that's interesting with country is I do think people follow the genre because it's kind of gives that permission of like a party atmosphere, party mentality. It's kind of like people who follow Fish. They might like the music, but they really like the pot and the Molly and the drugs, right? Or whatever. And they like the compadre. They like that compadre, they feel like they're a part of something. I feel like the country crowd is that same feel. Like they go, like that's why they could sell a mega ticket. They go
for a party, right?
For anything else. I don't mind photographing country artists. I hate country fans behind me, because if I'm going to get beer thrown on me when I'm up in a photo pit, or if I'm going to get somebody who puts their hand in front of my camera, it's going to be at a country show. And I'm a big guy, I'll go back to toe to toe with them, but I've never had that with a metal concert. I never have that with like a but country shows, man, drunk idiots are everywhere.
I've had that, Jim. I've had that. My cameras have been hit by country and metal guys. They like to put their hands in front of it, or they like to take it and turn it to get themselves in the video. They always do that.
Disrespectful.
It's because of the beer. It's because of the beer.
Yeah, I haven't had that in metal. I mean, I've been in the middle of mosh pits and with down shooting to get like a nice weird perspective. Never had that issue. But with country, I think, as the beer goes up, the IQ just goes down. I mean, and the fact that but the fact that they're jumping on stage and grabbing his guitar, it's like, there's a point where
I think she was more rubbing up on him.
Maybe it wasn't the guitar they wanted to grab.
No, she was trying to grab his Luke. She was trying to grab his Luke Bryant butt. That's what she was trying to do. No, this woman wouldn't.
If there's no ass, she has nothing to grab onto.
No comment.
So, Bob, are you still with us? Okay, good. I just want to keep you there. Make sure that I don't lose you too.
I will tell you, my stepson, when I said I was going to be on here with Skeeter Creek and Big Sky, he just about freaked out. So he is in that world where you guys are the local celebrities, both Skeeter Creek and I'm sorry, Whiskey River. I kind of like the classic country, but Big Sky and Skeeter Creek, you guys are you draw. I mean,
Yeah.
you have, and that's 19, 18, all the way up, So
Yeah, I got flooded with emails and messages on Facebook and whatever about who's going to be on the show, and then I said Big Sky and Skeeter Creek, which ones, and all this stuff. So the fans came out. They get a little piece of you. They want to be there. It's crazy, really, and it's part of the resurgence of country. There's a lot of people.
Yeah. Now I let Claude Sawyer shoot a lot of the country shows.
We love Claude.
That's awesome.
We love him.
Claude's not going to take the shit.
No.
Try throwing a beer at Claude. He will kick your ass. So if you guys see him around, he's often shooting for Nipper and Nippertown and stuff. So, and
That's cool.
I love him.
Okay. Chris O'Neill is apologizing. He's going to try to keep coming in, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. So we might have lost him for the show. Let's go to this one. Your favorite show or event so far in your career? Let's start with Dave and Renee.
You guys got all mine?
No, I mean, I'm sure there's a few.
This could be a long one.
No, there is one in particular that's like my favorite. And I was 17 years old. I was 17 and I was on vacation in Hampton Beach. And I got a call to come back and to open up for Country Fest at Altamont Fairgrounds it was a Loose Cannon Live at the time. And they wanted me to do it. And I did. I left my vacation early at 17 years old and came back. And Greg Simmons really took me under his wing. He was one of my biggest inspirations getting into country music. And we met backstage, and he said, now you're going to go up there and you're going to look out and there's going to be people. And you tell me how many people you see. And I was nervous, and I stood up on stage, and it was all you could see was just people. At 17 years old, that was the coolest thing, I think. That was an aha moment. Like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. Like, this is so cool. So I think that was probably my favorite show. It was just a rush.
Awesome.
Right.
Dave.
I've done a ton of them. I've been with Skeeter Creek for 12 years. Before that, I was with Back 40, obviously, and we did Country Fest back in, I want to say 2004. 2004, I think it was, with Back 40 band. And like she said, I looked out, there was 35,000 people out there. Skeeter Creek did it in 2008 or 9, and there was 35,000 people out there.
Yeah.
And then
It's just so cool. It's just a rush to be.
And then we do smaller ones. Like, we opened up for Randy Hauser, who was my idol, at Frog Fest, and there was, I don't know, like 5,000 people.
But that was a cool show.
But it was cool, and it doesn't matter how many fans are out there. It just matters that you do your best, and you do what you can do, and you see the smile on the people's faces, and
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
doesn't matter if there's 35,000, 5,000, or 10 people. You got to do what you got to do, and.
So which one of those was your favorite?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. There's so many. And
All
then,
of them.
I mean, there's our own shows where there's, I don't know,
Like Rustic Barns.
1,200 people at
It's a lot of
Vapor.
fun.
And it's like one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's like, you play to 50 people, but it's still the greatest feeling in the world. So
Yeah,
for me,
those-
as long as I'm playing and making people happy and putting smile on their faces, and they're spending money, and I guess, I don't know, every show I do. I don't know.
Every show you do. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I hope you continue to feel that way, because that's really it. When your idol in your band starts to not feel it, you can see it in their performance. So then you kind of shy away from the band. As long as you keep it, as long as you keep that feeling, your band will continue.
And with this quarantine going on, we always said, you know what? We're so busy, we don't want to play anymore. Like, we want a big break. And Brad could attest to this, because Brad was like, dude, you guys play every single weekend. I'm like, yeah, we need a break. we didn't talk about this kind of break because this sucks. This really sucks.
We just wanted balance.
Like we just wanted like 1 weekend off, and we were good. But to have all this time off, it really sucks.
Terrible.
And we're blessed because we live together and we can do what we do. And Brad and Ashley, props to you guys last night. You guys sounded great.
Yes.
They live together and they can do what they do.
Right.
But to be a band and to be able to perform online is hard.
Yeah.
So this just really sucks. We need to get over it and we need to get out there and play.
I agree.
Yeah, we do. But we got to be safe too, guys. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that is, until you can be sure that it's safe out there, we're still going to have to suffer. And I'm suffering because all my gigs for the rest of the year got canceled. So I'm doing, except for here. And I don't know if when I come back, I'm going to have anybody to come back to, you know what I mean? What bands are going to come, back and have gigs and whatever. So I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, our summer's canceled pretty much, but come September, we're right back on it.
Yeah,
So,
yep.
I think we're going to see a lot of creativity in the different venues and the promoters, different bands. Like Friday, there's a paid EP release for Girl Blue. It's going to be like $20, and they're going to generate a concert online. It's going to be at Cafe Lena. Shane Spillinger over at Nanola is looking at renting out Saratoga Speedway and lining it up with cars and having the band up on a stage and doing an FM transmitter. So I have faith, and I will be there shooting 6 feet away because I have a big lens. It could be 60 feet away. I don't care. I need to shoot. But we're going to make this work somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some bands and some people that don't. But like the 3 bands here, they've got such a dedicated following. The weekend that these guys decide to go out and play, there's going to be the 1,200 people or thousands of people, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a drunk fest, but it's going to be great. I can't wait.
We make it sound like all country fans are drunks, but they're not. I mean, there are a certain amount.
Well, there are there are some like Sturgill Simpson fans that are maybe just stoners, but just kidding.
I love him.
We got some of those too.
Yeah.
He's one of the great guys that I got to do a little bit with.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't do country. I don't get hired by the country guys. Maybe because they get the non-country vibe off me. I don't know. But I can tell you a lot about the Statler Brothers, Charlie Pride, Patsy Cline, and all those bands that my dad tried to drill into my head. I can name albums and the songs on each side of the album, and I was a crazy kid, and sitting there reading album covers from all these country bands when I was young. So we're kind of still on the favorite event so far. Bob Tressler, what was your favorite show so far with Whiskey River, or anywhere in your career actually?
Well, we'll stick with Whiskey River, and like everybody else says, we really enjoy all the shows. We're really at home in the clubs and the honky tonks because it's visceral. They're right there in your face. Instantly if you're doing good or bad.
Yeah.
But we enjoy the concerts in the parks, the theaters. Matter of fact, we were supposed to open the little theater of the farm yesterday for the 3rd year, and of course that's out. But we enjoy that, the Strand. And we did a bluegrass festival in Vermont last year. They had a country element. We were it. So that was fun. But I'll tell you, probably my favorite was about a month ago. We have a friend of the band, Frances. She's a dear friend, who was rehabbing. She had an issue. She was rehabbing at an assisted living facility. So we went, and with a friend of ours, Gus, who kind of arranged it. He's a singer, guitar player. And we played that facility for her and for all the other residents. Came out, and we brought her up, put a chair right in front of the band facing her friends, and sang with it, sang to her. That's family. and we love it. That's probably my favorite so far with Whiskey River.
Yeah, it is cool.
Awesome.
Whiskey River has I've shot them a lot, but I recognize people, and then they recognize me, and all of a sudden we're all friends. I find that with Skeeter Creek too. You got the Skeeter Creek girls up front that they're like defending you. The first time I went to a Skeeter Creek show, the Creek Freaks. First time I got to the show, I went forward with my camera, and this wall of women would not let me through. They would not let me get any closer to you guys. I had to stick behind them, and it was like 3 women deep, this wall. At least all the way across the stage. And it's literally, you're not getting through here, lady.
That must have been Joey K's women.
They're all lining up in front of Joey K.
Sure.
Hey, he looks good. He looks good now, I have to say. But this was back when he had a little more weight on him, and I thought he was cute then too.
He's always cute.
But he's always been cute. No, yeah, he has. He's always been cute. So, but I mean, these still. My husband says still in the room.
Which way does he face? Does he face the women, or does he show his ass?
Listen, he can't play unless there's women. If there's no women there, he can't play a shit like a guitar. I hope he's watching too.
But literally,
what are you fire me?
They're, Whiskey River's got their little the line dancers. I don't know what we're going to call them, but there's this group of women who will line dance right in front of the stage every single show, and they're crazy about it. And then there's your Skeeter Creek freaks that barricade people out that they don't want close to you because they're protecting their band. And Big Sky, same thing, but usually it's tall drunk guys, and they were the ones that were trying to block me from the stage. And we're the media, we're trying to get in there and give you some press, and they're like, no, get away from our band.
You got to remember, this is country. They're told not to trust the media.
Yeah, they don't trust us.
You got to remember, media bad.
Exactly. So, but yeah, they have their following, and it's beautiful to watch it. I mean, it's really beautiful to watch it. It's special. I can't explain it, but I felt it with Big Sky. I felt it with all you guys. It's different from a cover band or a pop band or one of these original guys writing that does a cafe or something. It's a different following. You guys have this it's this weird energy, but it's like this energetic base that just from the time they get there until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's just nuts. It's all out nuts. They're not going to go away till that band is finished, and they don't leave. And that's what venue guys like. And they like it, full crowd all the time.
We love that. We appreciate that.
And they scream at the top of the lungs, off key like Rebel
all the time.
Anybody who knows Rebel knows Rebel.
You know what
Rebel
he's there.
Oh yeah.
And he's louder.
I love reading the comments between Angel and Lisa, and you guys. They're calling it out. They've got the front row. I see that.
Well, yeah, she's probably one of the ones that blocked me. I don't recognize her, but she's probably one of the ones that blocked me when I was trying to get close to you to get some footage. But every week or all the time she's there. I see her name all the time on comments on different
Angel?
shows. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I see her all the time.
And they come to every single one of our shows, and they've got really good friends of ours even, and we are so thankful for the great fans that we have.
And it's that type of base that assures your success because people flitter, come in and out, coming out, but it's those lifelong fans or those fans and those relationships you build. That's what's made any band going up and up, whether it's country or rock. That's who makes you go from good to great, is that loyal base.
That's what makes all of this really fun.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I admire it. I think you guys do have great fans. And like I said, my stepson is one of them, and he's just head over heels. And it's nice to see that level of energy in this area about any genre. And I know the venues that you guys play for absolutely love it because you're bringing asses to the seats. Right. You're bringing in, not only are you bringing in ticket money, you're bringing in beer money, you're bringing in food money, you're bringing in life. and they all need that. So I tip my hat off to you guys, even if your fans are drunk idiots. But
No, some of them are sober. They're saying so right now.
no, I'm just kidding. I hope they could take jokes. I'm,
They can.
They're good. We have some that are like you mentioned earlier. We've got the bodyguards also that keep the drunks back. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
I'll,
awesome.
I'll tell you, I shot. I had a bodyguard. You guys have your fan battle guys. I had a bodyguard assigned to me for one show where I was shooting, and he was the biggest man. Like, again, Steph, you know me. I'm a big guy. This guy made me look like a tiny man. His muscles had muscles, and I remember it was a rap show, so it wasn't definitely not my genre. But yeah, it was like it was Kendrick Lamar. I was shooting for Kendrick Lamar.
Oh wow!
But they assigned me my own bodyguard.
Cool.
And he wouldn't let anybody anywhere around me. I was like, no, dude, it's fine. I don't care. And they're like, oh. It was cool, but yeah.
Yeah, after a while of seeing these people and they get to know who I am, then they might let me get within 25 feet of the stage. But but if I walk in as a newbie or whatever, unless I'm up there dancing, the whole show, they don't want to let me through. And they see the camera and they're like, no.
You just need a big lens because sometimes size matters.
Yes. I'm doing that now. Big lens.
There you go.
And multiple. I've got 8 cameras now. It's
multiple
crazy.
Cameras.
8. It's crazy now. So, because everybody wants, the close up on the drumsticks now, and they want the fingers on the keyboards and the whole thing. So, you've got to have multiple cameras. You can't do a decent job without it. And so, our final question, and then I'll take questions from the audience if you have questions. We're talking about the COVID-19 shutdown and how it's affecting your music and or your day job. So if you want to talk about that, I'm going to leave Dave to last because I know he's got a lot to say. We'll start with Bob. Bob Tressler. How's it affecting you?
Yeah, okay, so it's really it's disappointing that we can't play the shows that are scheduled. We've lost 13 so far, including yesterday's opener, the third year in a row at the Little Theater. That really hurt. The Bluegrass Festival, we were going to be back again this year. That just canceled. All the Bluegrass festivals over in Vermont canceled. But you know what? That's us. And we're a bit player in the scene. It's really the clubs. They're the major component. And I'm hoping that they're going to be there when this is over. Because they're suffering. They have nothing. No income, nothing. Right. So we're really, just rooting for them that they can weather this and they'll be back there and we can start all over again.
Yeah, that's I think that's across the board for everybody. It's venues. They're hurting. And in a town like, Glens Falls, we only have a few venues, for music. And if one or two of them go under while this is going on, our scene is screwed. We're going to have to, go elsewhere for our music. So, Brad and Ashley, how's it affecting you guys other than being cooped up together for hours and hours? Oh my.
It's awful.
We have Gunner half the time. So
it's your 5-year-old son.
Yeah.
So everyone knows.
Yes, we have Gunner. He's 5. He'll be 5 tomorrow, actually.
Wow.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Gunner. What a great name.
It's been 5 years already. He's been out of daycare and out of school, so I've had a lot more extra time with him, which I just looked at this as kind of a blessing, so kind of slow down and soak up this time with him, just because he is still little, and everything, life is so busy, and you kind of push it aside, and so I've just been kind of trying to look at this in a positive light for me anyway. So I've just been kind of playing mom more, and playing music by myself, practicing guitar a lot more. I'm out of work right now just because I'm with Gunner. I know the biggest thing we've had shows canceled like everybody. The one I'm we have Country Fest. We got booked finally for, and of course that's hanging on by a thread, and that's probably not going to happen, which I don't know.
We don't know
We
that
don't
yet.
know. We don't
Stop with
know.
that
I can't be
nonsense.
negative. I can't be negative. But I just, I'm so scared. But if it does, it is what it is. But yeah, so we're in the same boat as all the other musicians, just itching to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's working.
Yeah.
Jim, you're still doing Nippertown from home and everything. So, I mean, as far as affecting the business, is it just the lack of live shows that's?
Yeah, so we're expanding. We're adding some more stuff. Like with Nippertown, I wanted it to be more than music. I wanted it to be about culture and stuff. So we're doing some more food stuff. We're doing some cultural stuff. But yeah, it's hard to keep up with like the live streams and everything because they're great, but it's not the same as a live show.
Right.
It just isn't. And we're just trying to keep people in touch with the musicians and make sure that the fans are kind of still hanging out and hanging on there. But I think, we say the venues, obviously the musicians were hit really hard with this. Promoters, and all these, the sound guys, the lighting guys, there's the stage guys. There's so many people involved in the music scene, more than what people see, and I think they forget about that. You've got everybody on stage, and there may be a handful of people on stage, but for every person on stage, there's another 10 people that are working behind the scenes doing something. And this was our lifestyle, going to shows a few nights a week. But it hasn't hurt my pocket as much as I can imagine somebody like Skeeter Creek, who was playing every weekend. This has got to be killer on that. But it's just kind of hurt morale, Yeah. I am jonesing for a show so bad. And I get to go to a couple like the live stream shows if they're at a media. We're essential. So we get to sneak in and sneak out sometimes and photograph. So I'm lucky there, but it's not as much as I would like. Right. I mean, and my summer's gotten canceled too. I thought SPAC had a great lineup this summer. We had I mean, there's a few shows coming to Times Union, a lot of local shows. I mean, our summer just got fucking destroyed. Excuse my language. It blew up. Like we weren't going anywhere. Like we usually go on a vacation every summer, and we decided, Laura and I were like, we're not going to go anywhere. The music it's just too good this summer, right? So we were like, we're just going to stay home and do concerts as much as possible. Nice. And then I can say fucking COVID because I think that's what we're all thinking. Yeah. And like Jesus Christ, it ruined our summer. But we all have our health, and we're all here, and we'll get through it. We've gone through worse, so I apologize for swearing, but
that's all right. You're good.
Sucks.
You're good.
You could spank me later.
Unnecessary. Brad, did you have something to say about COVID? About how it's affecting you?
It sucks. I don't think there's anything else to say about it. It sucks.
It just sucks. Okay. I do have, before we go, because it's almost 8:00, I do have a question from the audience. It was directed at Dave and Renee, but I'm going to throw it out for everybody. We'll let Dave and Renee answer it first. And it's going to pop.
Imagine.
It can pop up. It's going to pop up on your screen. And the question is, if you could spend a night with a country artist, who would it be?
My wife.
Oh,
that's a politically correct answer.
That was so smart.
Listen, if I don't answer that the correct way.
No, I give you a hall pass. Go ahead. I knew it. Okay. I could have answered that for him.
I told my husband if he ever had the chance at his, dream woman, I would turn my back. I said that when we first got married. Okay, and then he told me who it was. and then no. So
mine would be Sarah Evans.
Mine, you can guess mine.
Randy Houser.
Yeah, Randy Houser.
Randy Houser.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you know who he is? He smells so good.
Yeah, I've seen him.
He smells so good. So good.
Leland, by the way, Ashley and Brad, Leland is watching, and he's got some commentary on here.
That's usual.
Yeah. So, so you two, I can't imagine what your answers are going to be, but if you could spend a night with a country artist, who would it be? It doesn't say you got to sleep with him. It just says who would you spend the time with.
Well, that's not how the question was.
That's not.
I know, but
That's not how country people take that question.
trying to give you an out here.
No, that's okay. I think I know who he'll end up picking.
Yeah,
but for a country artist, I would have to say Jake Owen. I think. He's
Her celebrity crush, just
Oh, I
FYI,
have weird
her
celebrity
celebrity
crushes.
crush is Seth Rogen. That's weird to me.
different ones.
He's funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah,
Funny,
the
but
humor.
he's not, like dashingly good looking. Like I don't look at him and go,
He's hilarious.
He's
Yeah.
so funny.
Hey, a sense of humor. Believe it or not, gentlemen, a sense of humor is very important to women when they're picking out a partner. Sense of humor.
We're
And
talking about a partner here. We're talking about a one night.
oh, I know, but what I'm saying is, don't discount sense of humor. Sense of humor is a big deal.
Oh, I'm going with Lauren Lana.
I knew it. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. That
Yeah.
would have been his
Yeah.
second choice.
We're supposed to play Country Fest with, so watch out.
It's probably a good. I mean, oh boy.
Bob Tressler, having been married for a very, very long time to a very lovely lady, who would you want to go see? I know that you spent some time with, was it Miranda? Backstage at SPAC or something?
I didn't spend time with Miranda. Don't get me in trouble. So my lovely wife is sitting right here, and yeah, it's 45 years coming
Yeah.
up, and I haven't had dinner yet, so this can be. But, safe to say Loretta Lynn, but really, Shania Twain would do the trick.
Ooh,
Yeah, she's beautiful.
she is
I don't know
beautiful.
if she'd be fixed, but whatever, she'd be okay there.
Jim, Gilbert, I'm not
we'll get
making you pick a country person, but if you could.
From the first time I heard me and Charlie talking, I have had a crush on Miranda Lambert.
Miranda Lambert?
I heard that song and I was just like, oh my God. It's like
that twang. The
Oh my
twang was
God.
just such a twang.
that
It's
twang
so
just, it was just melted. And yeah. So when you guys said Miranda Lambert, like, yeah.
awesome.
Chris O'Neill is watching from the sidelines. Chris O'Neill, if you had your celebrity crush, a chance at your celebrity crush country-wise, who would it be? Type it in, and we'll put it on the screen.
Steph, who's yours?
Mine? I don't
Yeah.
have one.
Oh, lame.
I don't have a country crush. Not a single one.
Randy Travis? No.
No, God, no.
I think that was my mom's.
Randy Travis. I'm not quite that age group. I mean, I'm back there, but I'm not quite that age
No,
group.
but he's like, I don't know. George Strait, that was another big one back.
George
in the
Strait.
80s.
George Strait.
He's super handsome.
Mm-hmm.
My mother-in-law loves Don Williams.
Wow.
His voice, she melts when she hears this man.
You know who Don Williams
I
is?
do know who Don Williams
Oh
is.
my God, I didn't know
Yeah.
when I met my mother-in-law. That's how I found
She
out
was
who
like
it
born in
was.
92.
No, my God.
I know. I was born in the '60s.
Name one song.
Why are you putting me on the spot
See?
right now? No, I know Don Williams.
Tulsa
I
Time.
know it. Tulsa Time.
Living on
Yeah. And he has a beautiful voice, and I didn't know who the hell he was. My mother-in-law in England introduced me to him, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" She goes, "You don't know who this?" I said, "No, I've never heard him." And it was Don Williams, and I felt bad because here's the American over in England thinking, and she's really cool with music, and she doesn't even know who her compatriot is when he's singing. And then I found out that over there was a huge American country music following. They like Marty Robbins. There's like big fan clubs of it, and they also have big fan clubs of R&B, 60s, early 70s R&B, like the Temptations and all that. But they call it Northern Soul because up in the north of England is where it started. And I was amazed that oh, hello, puppy. They knew more, as much as they did, if not more than me, about certain genres of music, and I felt like...
This is my crush.
Truman?
Oh, he's so cute.
That's Truman!
Good one.
A funny story really quick. We went to Jamaica last year. We actually were supposed to go this year, and it got canceled due to the virus. But we went last year, and we were talking to the Jamaican who picked us up at the airport, and he was bringing us to our resort. And we got to talking about how we were in a country band, and he's like, I love country western music. And we listened to Vince Gill the entire way, and he sang every song.
Now,
Vince Gill.
Yeah, Vince Gill is nice.
Vince Gill. Yeah,
And a Jamaican accent. It was pretty cool.
it was the most bizarre thing, but it was awesome.
Chris O'Neill's answer was he doesn't really have one, but his wife jokes that I love Sarah Evans' voice so much. So maybe it's Sarah Evans
And her legs.
too.
Oh,
And her legs.
she got a voice?
She has a voice.
Oh, and unless the fans don't have any more questions.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to hear what's your favorite country voice? Who's your favorite vocalist?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
We'll start with Jim. Sounds great.
Oh no.
we can't hear you.
We
Jim,
can't.
we can't hear you. No.
Hello?
There
There
you
you
are.
go. There
Oh,
you go.
when Truman
Truman
came
hit
on,
you. Yeah.
Hit it.
he hit the mute. God, I was going to say right now, I'm listening to a ton of Jason Isbell, so I'm going to say him. I dig him a lot. I dug him when he was with Drive-By Truckers, so I love his voice. And Jason, I don't know, any of those guys, and of course Miranda Lambert, that twang.
Yeah.
I mean, that just melts me every time.
Let's just, Miranda Lambert all day long. Bob, voice. Who's the voice of country for you?
Yeah, it'd be George Jones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George Jones. He's marvelous.
Yeah. Awesome. Renee.
So I have two, male and female.
Patsy?
So the male, nope. And you're going to be surprised by this, but the male that I think has the best voice in country music is Chris Stapleton.
He's very good. Yeah, he's very good.
Over his voice.
Yep.
And for female, I'm really just starting to get into Carly Pierce.
Oh, I love her.
Her voice, the way that she just jumps into her falsetto. She has such a relaxing voice. If you haven't heard of her, you have to listen to her music.
I'm going to have to listen because I can't picture her.
She's so good.
So good. Love her.
She did a cover of A Cowboy Take Me Away that I heard. I had it on my on Amazon Music, and it's so good.
I'm going to go look that one up after I get off of here.
Have to. She's awesome.
Dave.
So I got two too.
All right.
And they're both males. The first one professionally will be Randy Houser. He's got an absolutely amazing voice. The second one, the local, and I'm not saying this to kiss ass, and I said it earlier in the show, is Leland. Leland's got
he's so good.
probably the best country music voice in the Capital District.
Yeah, Leland,
I'm
we've
not
been
just saying
talking
that.
about you. I don't know when you joined the show, but we've been talking about your whole show, Leland. So
I'm speaking truth.
yeah, you got some fan base out here.
Yeah, fan base for another band. How's that? See?
Yeah, really. Brad, did we get you?
No.
I'm going to go way out in left field. My favorite country voice is Drake White.
Oh,
Yes.
very good.
You guys haven't heard him.
And he has golden retrievers.
Hey,
See?
Wow.
See?
Dogs are important.
We spent one night around the fire, shooting stories. It was kind of fun. But yeah, he's really cool, and he has dogs.
he's great. He's a super nice guy, and I don't think anyone else. I mean, the way he writes songs and the way he sings songs. You know, Stapleton. You know, Renee Stapleton is one of my favorites too.
Yeah. Yep.
Drake White just has like he's got that soul to him.
Yeah.
that
I
really
love the
like.
soul in
So
country
good.
music.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Ashley.
There are so many. But to narrow, the one that came to mind was Gary Lennox of Rascal Flatts.
Yep.
His range,
The
and
runs.
runs that he does will just goosebumps. He's amazing, and you know I said it earlier that his voice and Rascal Flatts is a band, but his voice is what really got me into singing, and I just fell in love. I think I know every one of their songs by heart. Just love them. I think his voice is just to die for. So not for everyone, but I love it.
Great. I've got two actually. One is Lynn Anderson from when I was a kid. My dad probably owned every record that Lynn Anderson ever made, and I grew up listening to her beautiful voice, and it made me want to be better at singing at school. You know, I was in a choir, and I did plays and all that, and musicals and all that stuff when I was in school, and trying to emulate, I guess you'd say, and trying to do better. Listening to her, that was great. And the other one is a local guy. I don't know if you guys know him. His name is Norm Allen.
Yeah.
He's got a fabulous voice. I absolutely love listening to Norm Allen sing.
I used to play with Norm Allen when I was
Did you?
21 years old. I played drums for him and Gary Warner.
Yeah, he's got an amazing voice and range.
Absolutely.
I mean, and everything he sings sounds amazing. And I don't see him enough. I wish I saw him more. But yeah, he's mine. And if you haven't ever seen him and you get a chance to go out and see him, whatever band he's in now, he's been working with Mike Flores a lot and a couple other people. But yeah, he's amazing. I really love him.
Back when I played with him, it was Roadhouse. Remember Roadhouse?
Yep, Roadhouse. Yep.
Roadhouse, yeah.
Yep. And and I think that's where I first heard him, in Roadhouse.
We have so much talent locally. It's unbelievable.
Huge amount of talent.
I mean, you can just about go to any club any night of the week around here and watch a live show and just be blown away. If people say there's nothing to do in the Albany area, I feel like bitch slapping them. Just like,
Right.
I know.
like, there's so much to do, and it doesn't matter what genre you like. If it's country
Right.
or folk or Americana, bluegrass, rock, metal, rap, there's always something to do.
I know. I'll attest to that. When I first started 7-8 years ago, I was out every single night somewhere in the 518 seeing some genre of music, some act, and some nights I would see up to 6 acts because there was so much to cover.
That's a lot of cover charges.
It was a lot. Most people let me squeeze in, but sometimes no. Sometimes
Never
it costs
trust
me.
the media. We get it for free.
Well, now I'm smart enough to call ahead, and so I don't have to pay cover charges.
By the way, Leland had 2 great answers to this. Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
So
And
just a
Tammy
great-
Wynette.
And Tammy Wynette, and you got to love her voice. And that goes with the George Jones. Whoever said George and Tammy together.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. As long as they're not married to each other.
Yeah.
Singing together is fine. Living together was something different. Okay. We're past time, but I enjoyed it, and we should do this again.
Absolutely.
So next week, I'm just gonna let people know I've got a songwriters show with Ralph Renna, Lucas Garrett, PJ Ferguson, Phil Camp, and Herb Carter. And
a lot of great guys on that one, or great people on that one.
Yeah, and they're all writing something or have written something that has appealed to a number of people. And then we're going to do the following week: significant others, wives and girlfriends and husbands and boyfriends of you guys, the front people.
So wives and their girlfriends and the husbands and their boyfriends.
Sounds legit.
The significant others
Welcome to the band.
of people in the band.
Oh,
But we can't do these two because they're married to each other and they're both in the band. But we're going to have some significant others to talk about what goes on in life behind, the woman behind the man and the man behind the woman. That's going to be an interesting show.
That's uncharted territory, I think.
Exactly. And then May 20th, we're going to round out May with women in music. So I'd like to hear from any ladies out there that are watching that want to talk about women in music. And I have my own stories from when I was in the 80s. So we'll just do that. And then I'll do something with the guys. I'm not sure what yet. But stay tuned for more chit chat and whatnot. And thank you all. I appreciate you all
Thank you so much
being
for
here.
having us.
Yeah, and we'll do it again. We really will. I think with this country thing, we need to explore more things. So we'll be back. And thank you, audience. As always, I appreciate you. If you've got any questions or you want to see somebody on the show, message me, and I'll see what I can do about getting them. Bye-bye for now.
Good seeing everybody.
Take care of yourselves. Be safe. And the audience. Everybody, thank you. And be safe.
Thank you.